Hello, welcome to some more Tesla news. Hopefully this live stream starting, it says that it's testing YouTube bandwidth. We'll see how this looks. Hello, welcome to some more Tesla news. I'm live from the KOA campground in Rock Springs, Wyoming. I was driving around the parking lot over at the mall looking for some signs of construction on the supercharger. And no dice, no supercharger. Anyways, lots of cool stuff today's show. Please comment. I can see this. Any comments live, and I'll answer them. I'll do like a kind of a Q&A. So Tesla's launching a fan-made commercial contest thanks to a girl that wrote, a little 10-year-old girl that wrote a letter to Elon suggesting that, that there are some pretty good fan-made commercials and that Tesla doesn't do traditional advertising and that they should hold a contest. And so they are. And it seems like it could be pretty cool. They're going to choose the winners on May 10th. So this Bria Loveday sent a letter to Elon to hold the video contest. Elon thought it was a good idea. And just, a few days later, they announced the contest rules. So the videos can be up to 90 seconds. And then you send a YouTube link with an entry form. And there's some terms and conditions that you got to follow. The video must be related to Tesla, Solar City, any of the Tesla products, mission, or to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. Sorry, I've been driving all day. Everything has to be in English. What else is there? Can't use any brands or products. You gotta make from other companies, because there'd be issues with that and legal. And it all has to be original content, like originally made. I don't know if you guys are gonna try it. Post in the comments below. I want to check them out and see what they look like. I'll figure I'll do something. If you guys have ideas for me to make one with, I'll take those into consideration. I got my new Tesla Model X here. I'm at the KOA campground in Rock Springs, Wyoming, charging at a whopping 27 miles per hour on a 50 amp breaker, 40 amps of service, 247 volts. And they got Wi-Fi, so hence the live stream. Hopefully the audio is good. Let me know if the audio sounds good or not. Oh, here we go. Cool. I see the comments here. It says it is working okay. Hi from Northern Ireland. Wow, that's really far away. Cool. Good to see you or hear from you. Oh, age of contestants? Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know if there's any limitation on that. I didn't see anything. I imagine the video has to be appropriate for all ages. I wonder if in the terms and conditions that a parent would have to, submit the video for a kid, because you can't sign a contract if you're underage. So that makes sense. Cool thing is the prizes. So the prizes are the top 10 winning submissions will be featured and shared on Tesla social media channels. So they'll put it on their, Facebook and Twitter and website and all that fun stuff. The grand prize winner will be invited and introduced at a future Tesla product launch event. Tesla will pay reasonable travel expenses and accommodations for 2 people and 2 nights. So probably the Tesla Model 3 launch event. They'll probably show the video there and introduce the person that made it, and that'd be pretty cool. On or about May 29th, the grand prize winner will be sent an official email notification. The prize must be claimed by June 2nd, which is kind of weird. So that means the events for the next big Tesla event's going to be in June sometime, or at least not before June. sorry, I'm keep pausing here because I'm kind of looking things up and seeing what you guys have for comments. Romania, wow, that's amazing. And he said the video looks clear. Awesome, that's great, cool, good deal. So Elon's been tweeting out over the weekend with South Australia, I guess, different people over there saying that he can fix their power problems in 100 days or it's free, kind of like those Domino's commercials that say, you get your pizza in 30 minutes or it's free, which is crazy. I gotta look again on how much it is, but it was a lot of money. Like, was it $20 million or more? It's a 100 kilowatt, and now they're talking about doing 100 megawatt. And they're saying that the one they did in California was $100 million for an 80 megawatt hour grid scale utility backup. So that's just huge. That's a lot of batteries. Wow, we got a bunch of people watching. Thanks everybody for watching. This is pretty cool. It gives me something to do while I'm waiting to charge, because I'm gonna be here for like at least another half hour if I want to make it all the way to Salt Lake City tonight. Hey, John the Mad Scientist from Oregon. Hello. Thanks for joining in. We're going over some of the Tesla news from the past week or so. It's been about 2 weeks since I put out a video. So where are you coming from and going to? How many miles per charge? Okay, so I started out in Riverton, Wyoming. I stopped at the charger I placed in Lander, Wyoming, which is only about 25 miles away. And I get a range of 260 miles, and it is ridiculously windy. Like, let me see if I can show the video in here. This new program allows me to put video clips in, I think. Nope, maybe not. Dang it. Too bad. Anyways, I took some video of it. The range is just getting killed by the wind. It's a steady 30 miles per hour with gusts of over 50 miles an hour, and it's totally in the direction I'm driving. So it's just bad. We have a speed limit of 70 miles an hour, and even driving 55, it's cutting my range by at least 25%, and I just barely make it normally from Lander to Evanston. I usually stroll in with about 15 to 20 miles extra if I drive 55 the whole way. So I always kind of try and time it just right, and kind of speed up a little bit towards the end, or when I'm going down hills and go up to 70. And I try and keep my average kilowatt hour around 250 or so. But my average right now is like 340, so I'm using way more energy than I normally do. So I'm trying to get some charge here at the KOA. I've added about 30 miles, and right now I can make it to Kimball Junction with 1% batteries, what the Tesla is telling me. But given like the 20% loss in range, I need to get, a good 20% buffer, I think. Hello, Ginger Martin from Utah. Oh. Nigel says, I have 2 Tesla Model S. Unfortunately, models only, rather big car for our roads through. Saw 2 so far. Black and white 85D. Last week, 2 Tesla destination chargers active in Banbridge. Wow. You have 2 Tesla Model S's? That's awesome. They're kind of big cars. They are kind of big cars. Like, I had a Model S before the X, and it's kind of interesting. In a way, it actually holds more because the seats all fold down. Even though I got the 6-seater, you can see it here. This is the 6-seater Model S with the seats down. But because the middle row doesn't fold down at all, you can't fit a bed in the back seat like you can the Model S. Do I charge at home? Yes, Robert Green, I do charge at home. I have an 80 amp charger, destination / high-powered wall charger at home. Actually, I've got quite a few chargers at home. I have that one. I have an open EVSE that I made that's 40 amp, and then an old school one that came with my Volt. That's a 240, but it only charges at like 10 amps or something. It's really tiny. And then I was experimenting with this charging network that I'm building, and I bought another one for like $1,000. I can't remember the name of it, but they said I could do mobile payments with it and RFID, and there could be an app and stuff, and it never panned out. So I ended up going with Wattzilla, and that's what I have installed in Riverton and Lander for my Wild West EV company. And I'm trying to put one here in Rock Springs, and then I found out that Tesla's actually serious about putting their supercharger at the mall, so I might postpone the Rock Springs one and try and do other cities, and then circle back around and do Rock Springs later for Chevy Bolts and whatever, the new next-gen Leafs, or any kind of EV that can make it this far in Wyoming. Nigel says you got a new Tesla in winter. Does the range change much? Yeah, well, yeah, because I think I had the 85D, and it started out when I first bought it at getting like almost 270 miles of range, and in the winter it was closer to 260. And I have a 90D Model X, and I'm getting 260 miles of range in the winter. I have only had it in the winter, so I don't know. It'll be interesting to see in the summertime what it's like, but it's pretty warm today, and it's still only charged up to 260. And I think they've also kind of changed the math a little bit on how they calculate the range. So it's kind of hard to tell with the new firmware updates. It's always kind of resetting and recalculating, but I can tell for sure my average kilowatt hour used when driving is higher on the X. It's a heavier vehicle, and it's a bigger wind catcher. So the wind seems to be affecting it more than the S a little bit. So what does driving at night or heater on AC do to your range? Okay, so I don't know, they're LED lights. I don't think that driving at night affects it much at all. In fact, during the summer, you don't have to use as much AC when you drive at night, so the AC uses more power than using lights. I didn't notice anything really huge on using like the fog lights. I haven't used the X year round, but I know on my S, using AC does cut your range a pretty fair amount. Like if you turn off your AC, you can gain like an extra 20 miles of range on a charge. And heater, when it's like below zero, it's a bigger difference. It's probably more like a 40-mile range difference whether or not you have the heater on. Am I a Tesla shareholder? Nope. I should. I would have been way better off if I had bought shares instead of Teslas. How long at home's 80 amps? I get about 52 miles an hour of range on my 90D Model X, and I was getting 60 on my 85D Model S. It's actually really disappointing that they changed from a physical dual chargers to a single higher amp charger, because the duals were 80 amps and the single only goes 72, which is really sad because you need it more on the Model X. So not only is it not as efficient, but it can't charge as fast. So that means I have to wait longer. So I don't know. I think there's physically no space, but I'd rather switch it out with 280s somehow. Or if they ever come up with a single one that can do a full 80 instead of the 72, I'd see if I could somehow get it swapped. Oh, okay, Nigel. Sorry. I have two Model S models. The two I saw were not mine. Wish I had. Drive the Zoe, or not available outside of Europe. American mile different to UK imperial mile? Oh, uh, that's a good question. I don't know. If somebody else knows, let me know. I think it's the same. Or I know that our like the EPA rating versus the rating that they do in the UK are drastically different. It's almost like what your max range is versus a more of a realistic range, I guess. Because I know the ratings always are a bit higher over there in Europe on what they rate the range of the vehicles. Are you getting a Model 3? I reserved 2, kind of. I stood in line and reserved one over in LA, and then I went to the launch event and I reserved one. But they canceled one of my orders. It didn't. It got flagged for fraud, and I was trying to get one for my work and one possibly for my wife. I assumed they really weren't going to come out for a couple more years, but it's looking realistically like they might come out this year. So I don't know if I'm ready for it. My sister wants one, so she'll take my reservation if I don't take it. And my wife won't take it unless we get superchargers throughout Wyoming. So that's what I'm trying to build out charging networks to kind of support that. Hopefully I'll get a Model 3 though. Trade in my Tesla, or my Volt, my Chevy Volt that I have. And then I won't have any more gas at my house. Are you getting a Powerwall 2 and shingles? I think the roofs are absolutely gorgeous. Brian, yes, I am trying to. Right now, Solar City, Tesla isn't doing anything in Wyoming, but they just got approved to sell cars in Wyoming, so that's a good sign. They called me about my Powerwall 2. I put the email in saying I wanted one when the day they announced them. And then when they announced the Powerwall 2, you could actually put down a deposit, and I did that. And they called me up and said, "Are you ready?" And I was like, "Yes, send someone over." And they're like, "Okay, we'll call you in about a month." So I guess they're just, whenever they get around to it, I'll hopefully get a Powerwall 2. And probably just one to start with, even though I could probably use more. My house is pure electric. I don't have like gas for heat or anything. And I think it would be used up like almost instantaneously during the winter with just one. We do have on-demand charges or like peak rates, so it would be helpful for me for it to be used during peak times and then charge at night. So it should save me a pretty good amount of money on my electric bill, because it's literally like double. Even though our energy is relatively cheap, it's double during peak. I'm excited about the HUD for the Model 3, Robert Green. Everybody's super excited about this HUD for the Model 3, but when I was in it, and one of the guys that was driving us around, he said they're not going to have more than one screen. And Elon's been tweeting that it'll make sense in the second part of the Model 3 reveal, and then he said that the full autopilot or full self-driving was the Model 3 second part reveal. So I'm thinking they aren't going to do one. Everybody's speculating it and hoping, but I don't think it's going to happen. I don't get me wrong, I think it would be awesome. And I think just because everybody's so excited about it, they might be trying to figure out how to work it in last minute, but I don't think it was their original plan. Elon said that the steering wheel is going to change and it's going to be like a spaceship. My guess is going to be more like a flight yoke or something to take up less space, because you won't be using it as much in theory. And it may be even collapsible. Like it'd have to be something really fast, or something where you could take over if it folds up, or like a big stop button, or a miniature one to maneuver or something, and have the main one or you push a button, it pops out super fast. I don't know how they do it, but yeah, I wouldn't get my hopes too high on that HUD. I guess they hired somebody that worked on one, and maybe, but yeah, I wouldn't count on it personally. No, the mile is 1,609 meters the world over, except in Belgium, where it is 1,608 meters. Oh, thank you. I'm sorry, I can't say your name. Sorry Sorry. But thank you for that. That's right, everybody uses, well, that's metric, but Imperial's like London, and it's like just slightly different. I don't know. I'm sorry. Wow, lots of comments. Thanks everybody that's watching this. And I'm not that exciting. I know you want to see the car, so while I look at some of these comments, I'll kind of show you around the car a little bit. So this is the Model X, and I don't know what else. Oh, so this is the sunshade that they get now before my next charging session. And ultimately, for the night, I want to get over to the Salt Lake City supercharger. So, 173 miles. My rate, like 4 hours, 15 minutes. I've only go like the last 40 miles by the time I get there. But it's not accounting for any of the wind. So, I'd still feel more comfortable if that was like 20% extra instead of 2% extra. Wow, lots of comments. Holy cow. Is the air conditioner old style like the Zoe, which works like reverse fridge thingy we use? 240 volt standard, 7 kilowatt chargers, free charging throughout Ireland, 22 kilowatt hour AC, and sometimes 50 kilowatt hour. Whoa. These comments are rolling by really fast. DC, CCS, and Shadmo. Wow. That's awesome that you guys have so many charging options, and if free charging, that's just amazing. We have literally nothing but RV parks around here that I can charge at in Wyoming right now. That's why I've started my own little company to kind of fill in the gaps with 80 amp charging options and leases for spaces for level 3 charging. And I'm trying to get funding for those level 3 chargers right now. And the level 2s. It's kind of hard when it's just me. I've got a couple family members that are helping invest in it. Alright, so let me figure out where I left out on these comments. A lot of comments. Thanks everybody for commenting. Interesting, keep us posted. I'm one of your first subs. Yeah, thanks Brian. You've always been an early adopter on all sorts of gaming and tech. Yep, it's true. And I pay for it. It's kind of expensive, but it's fun. I mean, it's really exciting times. I got the same call, ordered 2, but my delivery... Oh man. Boy, these comments, they just keep scrolling by. I'm going to have to get a better program for this. Or look at it on a different device while I'm doing this. I ordered 2, but delivery, well, maybe someday. Yep, that's right. This is on the Powerwall too. Everybody's getting calls, and they're trying to plan the setup or rollout process, I guess, and probably giving priority to places that have installers, or gauge where they need to hire installers is what I'm thinking. There will be like a cutout at the top so you can see through the HUD. Maybe. If they end up doing a HUD, that makes sense to me about cutting out the top of the steering wheel. Like I said, it looked like a flight stick or steering wheel, so there's no top. And since it's all electronically controlled, was it called drive-by-wire type? A lot of the sharper turning, you wouldn't have to flip the wheel as much. So I'm sure they could work that out. It would be my guess. So hence not having to have a fully round steering wheel. Heads-up display has to be legal. Has to be for legal reasons. Cannot be off to one side. Look up the Chiron. They had a display in the middle, and steering wheel moved around it. Pretty unique. No, the Toyota Yaris has one in the middle, and who else had one in the middle? There's a couple other cars that have them in the middle. I don't think it's illegal. Do you ever get approached by strangers asking about the car? Non-stop, everywhere I go, especially the Model X. The Model S, when they see how you can't get into it. A lot of questions about it, but just the handles that come out. And then, of course, the doors. When the back doors open on the Model X, everybody looks like everywhere, and they're like, "What is that? Like, is it a DeLorean?" Uh, so I get a lot of questions on the X, but it's interesting because the Model S I think it looks cooler just as is, and most people do. They're like, "That's a really cool looking car." And the Model X, people are like, "It's just an SUV," until they see the doors open up, and then it's like crazy. So it's kind of interesting. Like the X looks cooler with the wings open, the doors open, and the S just looks cooler just sitting around. How familiar would you say people are with EVs where I live? I'd say maybe 1 out of 100 people know what an EV is. Or know what a Tesla is. Not very many people. Saw a video on YouTube showing heads up that looked good. I know there's been some mock stuff, and I actually got to drive an i8 with a HUD in it, and I know what they're trying to show, like where it would line up with the roads and show you the autopilot, but when you move your head around, I don't know how it would adjust for that. It seems like there'd have to be a camera focused on your eyes to adjust the HUD, how it displays in the windshield to match up with the real lines to do like an augmented reality HUD. I'm sure it can be done, and at the NVIDIA booth at CES they were showing off exactly that, like where it could monitor people's eye lines and stuff, and actually their expressions to tell like if you're tired or if you're paying attention to the road, which it's interesting. So I don't know, it's possible, but I don't know if it'd be first generation. So for the fast drivers, how much range are you getting? Are you considering the X100? I knew there was an X100 coming out, and I opted for the free supercharging because I drive a lot, and I'm not that rich, so I can't. So it's like I got the Tesla because of the free supercharging in the first place, and that kind of helps me justify the car payment. Man, I really want the 100. I really need it. So I had an option. I was thinking, well, it's like $20,000 to swap the battery, if they could even do it. It sounds questionable. There's like, oh, just trade the car in, which you'd lose the supercharging for life. I'm gonna ask about it though. But I was thinking for $20,000, I could install 4 level 2 chargers across the state, and that's why I started my Wild West EV company, because I figured, well, for $20,000, I could put some higher speed chargers around the state and put me little credit card readers and hopefully get them paid for eventually. So that's what I decided to do instead of the 100D. Do you prefer the X over the S? I'm still up in the air about that. I think the X is definitely roomier. Like, headroom's super nice, and I can tow stuff with it, which I have to do every once in a while, so that's awesome. I think if you could tow something with the Model S, I think it'd be a better vehicle, because you can actually do roof racks, and I think it's more of a utility vehicle than the X, which is weird because the X is supposed to be the SUV, and you can kind of hold longer things. Although the 5-seater Model X probably be a better utility vehicle, but I need to haul more people than that, so I ended up getting the 6-seater X. I know for long trips, it sure seems nicer riding in this X. I think the S looked slicker. I think they drive identical. People say that the X doesn't drive as good, but I can't tell the difference. I mean, it's like virtually the same car. I love the extra frunk space in the X too. The Falcon Wing doors look super cool. They got sensors in them. They're supposed to avoid hitting stuff, and for the most part, it's good. I only had one incident where it avoided somebody's side mirror going up, because the sensor's on the outside, right? So it avoided hitting it on the way up, and when we went to close it, it went down on the guy's mirror, and it stopped. It hit it just barely tapped it, and then it went back up, so it was okay. But I can see the flaw there in the design. And my son's closed the door on my wife's head a couple times. She's not too happy about that. So she avoids going around the back of the car like the plague now. I mean, it's not super dangerous so far, but it has been a little bit a little bit less convenient, and definitely kind of a hassle. So I can see where, people might not like these. They should make the Falcon Wing doors optional, even though they're the coolest looking thing. The novelty, I think, does kind of wear off after a while. Boy, these comments they're coming at me like crazy. How many people are viewing right now? This is amazing. Sorry, when I get new ones, it kind of pushes everything up to the top, and I lose where I'm at in the comments. What do you think of having one big door for each side, as driver cannot get out in a tight spot, but passenger can? What? One big door. Whew. You know what? I'm gonna try and pull this up on another computer, because thank you for commenting, but I can't see them. They're coming up faster than I can read them, if that makes any sense, because it keeps pushing them up. What version is your Model X? It's a 90D. You should wrap your Tesla. I agree. I want to, but it's so expensive, and I already spent all my money on the car. Then I had to pay taxes, and right now I'm concentrating on putting in chargers. So I don't know. I think I'll eventually do it. Maybe, I don't know. I got the multi-coat red, and it seems to be holding up way better than the black in terms of just being able to keep it clean. Had a Mazda 6 with the HUD, no problem about seeing it. It pops up from the dash. Well, that's cool, Robert. Did it do any kind of augmented reality type stuff, though? I'm not familiar with it. Like, did it show lines on the roads and stuff when you're looking in front of it? How can you find a Model S with the new front? How can you find a Model S with the new front end, but built prior to the new year? Oh, well, they were out for like 8 months or so. So I mean, it shouldn't be a problem finding one. Excuse me for just a second. I'm trying to pull this up on my iPad so I can see all the comments better. I was originally planning on just reading this news, but I got so many comments that have just been going off on the comments. Oh, here we go. So this will be a lot better. We're seeing some changes in the numbers of EVs, but Leaf are on mainly 22 kilowatt hour chargers, just a block from ours. Do you have similar problems? I'm the only EV owner for miles, so I don't have any issues other than just not having chargers, period, yet. How can one find... Oh, that's right. CPO, or the certified pre-owned Teslas, there should be plenty of those available with the new fascia before the end of the year. So there's a lot out there. I don't think you'd have any issue finding one. Just on Tesla's website, they got used. Why can the Model S not tow? But my Zoe has the same, but not a problem. A large car would be better. Oh, there's aftermarket hitches that you can put on the Model S, but it avoids the powertrain warranty, from what I'm told, or what it says in the manual. And that's a big deal. It's really expensive. I wouldn't want to avoid the warranty, so I never did it. And there's no brake light hookups, so you'd have to kind of dig into that to hook those up too, for like the brake and turn signals and stuff. I think that technically there's no reason why it couldn't. I just wish Tesla would make it an option. or and a retrofit, because they could and they should, but I don't know. They're afraid maybe it'll cut into people's switching or trading up to Model X's. Do you plan on getting the ludicrous Model 3 if available? No. Ludicrous costs so much money. It's like $30,000 more to get the 100 DL versus my 90D, and what was I gonna get, like an extra like 20 miles of range or something, 30 miles of range, and it's like 2 seconds faster. I don't know. It's not worth it to me. I got to test drive one, and it's awesome and all, but you got to wait for it to like heat up. You have to have your battery just perfect, and it's a fun little demo trick, but it's not worth the price of a whole nother car. Like, I could get ludicrous on my X, or I could buy a Model 3. I'm going to buy a Model 3 instead of getting the slightly faster X. Plus, it makes me sick going that fast. Oh, and you're asking if I'll get it on the Model 3. I imagine it's still going to be like a similar thing where it's going to be, like at least $20,000 more, which would be ridiculous. I don't know. It depends on how much it is, I guess. If it's just a minimal difference for the ludicrous on the Model 3, I think I still won't get it. I'm going to go with the longest range possible, because if we have a Model 3 and an X, if the Model 3 has a longer range because of the efficiency in battery, we'll use it on longer trips until we can get more superchargers. That's if they still don't have superchargers by the time the 3 comes out. Hopefully I'll have those out before then. This is not working out on my other machine, trying to pull up the stream, by the way. There we go. Okay. So I'm sorry if I'm missing your comments. I'm just going to read the ones that are popping up as I see them. I'm actually got a pretty decent amount of charge. I'll have like 4% by the time I make it to Salt Lake City. Some company France added a trailer range extender, but no one explained it was not designed to tow. Those trailer range extenders, I remember seeing one on Fully Charged, I think it was, the podcast, and it would be awesome if they allow you to charge and drive at the same time. I know that the Teslas don't let you do that by default. I don't know if you can hack them to do it, but if you're plugged in, you can't drive. So you could stop and charge for a while, but I think what Teslas should do is they should make a trailer with a battery in it, so you can so when you're towing something, that you can have extra range just from the battery in the trailer, if that makes any sense. I don't know how exactly they do it, but I know like flatbeds and things that you could buy one of those with a trailer in it, and the stuff you load on it. But they could make it like optional, like for boats or jet skis, or in pull along campers and stuff, if there's a spot where you could put a battery in there and run the cabling to the car, so you can have extra range when towing just from batteries. I don't think Tesla would ever put a generator in there, but if they designed it so you could do that, then somebody else could do a towing generator. I know the EV1, they were experimenting with that, with a trailer range extender at one point in time. You could get ludicrous and die quicker. That's true. Most important is range. Yep, for me that is the most important. What state am I in? I am in Wyoming. I'm a Tesla owner, and I reserved at the launch event first day. So I think I have fairly good odds of actually getting a Model 3 relatively soon. I think they'll go to, the employees first over in Tesla in July, and then it sounds like maybe other Tesla owners in California the first day reservers, and then maybe I'll get mine by the end of the year. I don't know. It'd be kind of cool, like Christmas present. Do you think Trump will help accelerate the transition to sustainable energy? I don't think he's gonna help. I don't think he's gonna help at all. But indirectly, he may, because back when they first did like the EV1, it was all mandated. It was like, oh yeah, all car manufacturers need to come up with electric cars, especially over in California, and that was like the mandate. And there was, what was it, Ranger EV and a couple other things that were out there, and there was puny little dinky cars that could only go like 60 miles an hour for 50 miles or whatever, maybe a little bit better on some, more than others, but they weren't compelling cars. People are like, no, I don't want to wait overnight to charge and be limited on where I can go and be limited how fast I could go, and they just weren't great cars. In a way, it kind of killed the electric car, but it also created the resistance, and that's like Tesla, right? So the idea was we can make a great electric car. I mean, a great car, period. Better than a gas car, and that's what I'm hoping will happen again. If they kill all the incentives for EVs and the mandates and things, I think that it may slow down in the short term, but in the long term, the resistance might be greater. And maybe it'll actually help, like, make things even better, because it's not being forced. So that the companies that want to do it, these new companies like Lucid and Tesla, of course, they're and maybe Faraday, I don't know, they're kind of shaky. But all these new companies that are popping up, they're going to try really hard. Where all the old companies, they're going to be stuck in their ways, and since they won't be forced to put one out, they I don't know. I think that there's the silver lining is that the resistance will be strong. That's my thoughts, anyways. If you had consistent vids, you'd probably have been a big YouTuber. Oh, I'm sorry. What can I say? I do a lot for my job, and it's like a really labor intensive and time intensive, and I do this for fun. I don't care to be a big YouTuber. It'd be cool and all, but this is just like my idea of fun is making these videos and stuff, and I appreciate if you guys watch them, and thanks for the input. How many miles do you plan on putting your X before trading it in? With as much money as I owe, as many as I can. I think with the full self-driving and the unlimited supercharging, I plan on keeping this one forever. I say that today, but I'm sure they'll come out with something in a year or two. It'll be like, oh, I gotta trade it in. So I'll probably put on, I don't know, hopefully 100,000 miles before I trade it in. My last one I put around 60,000 miles on, and I would have held on to it for another year, and I kind of wish I did now, because the Autopilot 2 is nowhere near being ready yet, and I missed the Autopilot 1. Maybe Elon should give Donald a car. He likes golf buggies, it appears. I think Donald has a Tesla, so I think it's just a roadster, but I don't know. You can't stop EVs from being sold now. That's right. Too many. The movement has started. I don't think they're going to take them back and crush them yet. People want to make a difference. It's true. Depends on where you live, though. Where I live, it doesn't seem like it's as strong of a movement. But I'm trying to make it one. Do you buy or lease? I buy because I put too many miles on for a lease. The penalties would kill me. And I hope on like this X that, if they come out with a 120 kilowatt battery someday based on the new cells, or even just a cheaper 100, when this battery starts to wear down, that I can swap it out in the future. That would be my hope. Or if there are little things that they offer retrofits, which doesn't sound likely, because Elon says they're not going to do that. Elon is working with Trump, though. I think Trump Musk be a match made in heaven. Yeah, he's working with him, but Elon said previously he didn't think that Trump was the man for the job, and he also said in an interview when they asked him, what would happen if Trump become elected president, and he said something to the effect of, it's like he's in charge of a really big ship with a really small rudder. So because of all the checks and balances that the country has, he couldn't really change the directions drastically too easily, so, but I don't know, he's putting out executive orders like nobody's business. We'll see. I think it's great that Elon's working with him, because there's a lot of people that are mad about that. They're like, oh, you shouldn't work with Trump if he doesn't believe in climate change and stuff like that. But that's just it. I mean, you really need to work extra hard with him and convince him, this is the way things are, and this would be so much better. And if you can't win him over on the environmental aspect of it, win him over on the sheer economics of it. I mean, all these reports are showing that renewable energy sources are creating more jobs, and of course they're more sustainable because they're sustainable energy. They're going to be around a lot longer. It makes a lot more sense. And, Elon's proven it. He's building, huge factories here in America and vehicles, and everything is being sourced locally. Not everything, but the majority of stuff. So he's setting a really good example of what can be done, and I think it's a good thing that he's working with the president on it. I have to do that in my, in my life, or everybody does. You got to work with people that you don't necessarily agree with, but if you don't work with them, then they're not going to change their mind on how they do things. But if you do work with them, maybe they'll have some leeway, and maybe, who knows, maybe they'll change their mind and see things from your point of view. Please do more videos. We actually love you. You do not do enough of them. Well, thank you, Mr. Random. I'll do more videos. That's what I like to hear. Thank you. Yeah, that's insane. Would you rather have those people away from the man or close to them? Right. Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. It's true. Here's hope Trump is not playing Musk. I doubt it. Musk's a pretty smart guy. Model 3 will be the most made in America car possibly. Yep. They're really about, what do they call it, vertical integration. So instead of outsourcing every little thing, they're trying to just bring it in-house. They want to have materials come in one side of a factory, car come out the other, and if they can, they want to get the materials here. So that makes sense. In fact, there was an article where I'm at right now in Rock Springs, Wyoming, which isn't that far, and has a rail line over to Nevada, from what I understand, or at least one close by. It's supposed to have one of the world's largest lithium deposits. So I hopefully that gets explored, because that would be awesome if they start getting the materials for batteries here. All right, so I'm I'm at 4% battery. I got 165 miles of range, and I got to go 173. So I guess I'll answer a couple more questions. I was gonna be doing this news thing, but holy cow! I might just save that and do a non-live version for the news, because this video is pretty long. And again, thank you everybody who's commenting and chatting with me and keeping me entertained while I'm sitting here and charging, because it's way more exciting than just kind of playing on a Nintendo Switch, which is an interesting piece of technology, unrelated. I ended up breaking down and buying one on eBay. I tried to stand in line and get one, but we didn't have enough in our small town. So it's something fun to do while charging. In UK, tax on new cars from April in the UK to 2017 will keep EV zero and only give low CO2 cars a small charge for the first year. Then now up to high CO2 level cars, some small cars will pay £140 per year. See, that makes sense. Over here, I got punished. They're like, oh, you bought an electric car. Not only because it was a really expensive car, do you have to pay a fortune for the tags and plates. You got to pay an extra $50 for being an EV. But, this energy state's based on coal and gas. We do have a little bit of wind energy. We have a lot of wind. I wish they'd do more with it. But yeah, we get punished for being an EV here instead of the other way around. Nice to hear you watch Fully Charged. Yes, it is an awesome show. Yeah, I watch it. I subscribe and watch it all the time. Tesla will be the best U.S. car ever. Or yeah, well, I think it's gonna be pretty good. Have you ever toured the Fremont factory? Yes, I did. 2 years ago. It was awesome. I hope to go again and see the changes. I went right when they were starting to manufacture the prototypes for the Model X. So we saw a couple shells of Model X going through the line, which was kind of cool. And that was before the reveal, the final reveal, when they did the founders' deliveries. Do you like the Nintendo Switch? Yes, it's awesome. I got one without dead pixels, and I haven't had any problems with the Joy-Con. I wish I had more games. The games are really limited right now. I bought Zelda and 1-2 Switch and Bomberman. And the demo of this cutout game, which is actually really fun to play. The videos don't do it justice. It's me and my wife are playing it. It's really cool. I gotta get another controller or two so we can play 8-player Bomberman. I think Bomberman should have been a $20 game instead of a $40 game. And same with that 1-2 Switch. It's kind of a gimmicky demo of what the capabilities of the system are. It should have been included free with the system, I think. But yeah, so far so good on the Switch. Does the Tesla have a Wi-Fi hotspot? No, it doesn't, but my phone and iPad do, and so does this RV park. Do a live once a week or two, please. I like your input on Tesla. I'm a shareholder and I'm not a licensed advisor, but buy some one day. We will be made. Yeah, Brian. Sure, I'll do these once a week. Maybe I'll try and schedule a live night so I can be a little bit more consistent. I used to do live Wednesdays, but then I started having board meetings on once a month on Wednesdays, and it messed up the whole schedule. And my plan was to do Tesla Tuesdays for news, but when really exciting news comes out, I put a video, and when the week isn't as exciting, I tend to put off making a video. So I haven't been consistent. I should be. And again, all the comments are coming so fast. Thank you again. If I missed something, I'm just having a hard time keeping up. I must have got lucky. You seem to pick up my comments. Oh, Luck of the Irish. Yep. Do you think you will get a certified repair shop in Wyoming before you get a supercharger? So we do have superchargers, but they're all in the corners of Wyoming, and I live in the middle. That's the problem. And yes, we're going to get a shop, but I bet we're going to get it right in the freaking corner. I bet we're going to get it in either Jackson or Cheyenne, which are in the corners on the edge. It'll still be closer than they are now. Right now, my closest repair shops are like over 300 miles away. So being only, 250 miles away would be better. What charger you're at? What charger are you on? I'm on a 50 amp RV park mobile charger right now. What are your thoughts on the Lucid Air? That's a loaded question. I think it's great. I think the Lucid Airs, all these people that used to work for Tesla went off and did their own thing, and I think that's great. I think more competition, the better. And it's not even competition at this point. There's so few cars. I think just choice. I think as long as there's different variety from people to pick, different variety of vehicles for people to choose from, the better. I think the back seats are a waste of space in the Lucid Air from a utility standpoint, but it'd be really comfortable, especially if it's going to be self-driving. So that might be kind of nice. But, there's 4 people. For me, it wouldn't work. And then the cost, kind of expensive. I don't know, I'd rather have a Tesla, but it sounds like they did a lot of cool things from the standpoint of battery management, and they put a lot of work into it. So it's kind of, I don't know how to put it, but I guess it's lot of lessons learned from other people, and I think it'll be a great car. Just, it's not going to be a cheap one. What do you think of Tesla software giving it the ability to imitate an Audi or BMW or other cars based on the way they drive? I think that would be really cool. They could do it. I don't know if they get in trouble. They'd have to buy licenses from those other companies, maybe. Who knows? I think originally they said it was going to be a hackable car. Like the Android system, you'd be able to do your own things with it, skin it, write your own apps. And people could have wrote, their own driver profiles and loaded it on the car. But they got away from that. Sounds like just because they're afraid of, they're kind of the first in the industry to do this stuff, and they want it to be super safe. Because the first, Tesla deaths and things like that, they make huge headlines, and they don't want any possibility of people messing up their cars. And that's why they've been slow to roll out like these extra repair shops and things. I was going to talk about that in the news today. They're finally going to roll out more, they're going to approve more shops to do repairs because they're backed up like crazy right now. Mr. Random, your girlfriend is crazy. What time is it there? It is 6:09 p.m. Do you like your Apple Watch? Yes. It's great. I can control my car with it. I can check and get alerts and stuff when it's charging, and it's kind of a glorified notification thing. Like, it's really great for letting you get notifications, but it's not the all-out, end-all, be-all computer phone replacement type thing they were billing it out to be. In Ireland, Tesla is opening in Dublin sometime this year. All Tesla bought in the UK mainland for both north and south. Do you think Model X, cheaper version with ordinary doors, might appear in the next few years? Yeah, the Model Y. I know Elon says it's going to have Falcon Wing doors, but I think they'll be optional because of just, the issues they've had with it. Or it might not have them at all. They might go back on it. But I'd like to think they'd be optional because they're cool. I really like them. I mean, it makes the car very cool. And, I think my wife hates them. But so if my wife was buying a car, she wouldn't want them. If I were to buy a car again, I'd buy it with the Falcon Wing doors again. They're really cool. In fact, I think it would be really cool if they had them on an S. But I don't think it's technically possible because you need to have the height, the extra height for the way the doors work. All right, so I'm at 163 miles of range. I got 173 miles to go, 4% extra. It's not too bad. I guess I can do a couple more questions before I bounce. I don't know, the longer I wait, the faster I can drive. But I don't want to drive too fast because I'm finally going to get on the interstate with this new software update that I just got yesterday. And I can go 55 miles an hour on the interstate. And I don't live near the interstate. This is the closest I live to the interstate is like 200 miles away. So I'll finally get to try it out at 55. Even though the speed limit's 80. Hopefully I can get into the right lane and I can do my 55 and I can have enough range to make it to Salt Lake City. It's going to take me a while, but eventually I'll make it to Salt Lake City. World gone mad for SUVs and crossover. EV good center of gravity would fit in well. Yeah, so where I live, everybody has trucks and SUVs because we live in the middle of nowhere. There's a lot of roads that aren't paved. People like to go out into the mountains. They go hunting and fishing and outdoorsy type stuff, and they like to tow things like campers. And where I'm at right now is full of campers and boats and jet skis and power toys and four-wheelers and RV, all kinds of things. So it makes more sense here to have an SUV than that was the other thing, is the ground clearance. I really wanted the extra ground clearance for my job. I go out to towers. We got like 30 different internet towers, and a lot of them don't have roads. So I off-roaded in this thing. I off-roaded in my S too a little bit, but not. I didn't go nuts or anything. Just, mainly dirt roads. Am I self-employed? Nope. I work for the Northern Arapaho tribe in Wyoming, and I manage their IT and their internet company, and we have a lot of federal contracts around the states. That's why I travel so much. I do have my Wild West EV, and I have this Two Smart Guys channel, which are my own separate entity companies that I do for fun in my spare time. Our triplet, I'm in Colorado. Can you call me when you get a chance? Oh, yeah. Now everybody else has your number too. Yeah, I can give you a call. I'm placing chargers in Colorado, by the way. Over in Fort Collins, I'm working with a few different people over there. Because they're so EV friendly over there, and I don't think people are taking advantage of the opportunities that are available, and so I'm going to try. Plus I have family over there. Are you driving slower because it's an EV, and do you go fast in ICE cars? Yes and yes. I am driving slower because there are no chargers for my EV yet. If there were a decent amount of chargers, I'd go as fast as I'm legally allowed to, if not faster when I can. Safely. Yeah, so when you've got 40-mile-an-hour wind that you're driving into uphill, it significantly cuts on your range. And if you drop just 10 miles below the speed limit, you can gain 10, 20 miles extra of range. So when I'm trying to stretch it and go 300 miles between where I can get to a supercharger, it's actually more than 300 miles. I think it's like 320 some miles. Driving slower gains me more range than the time it takes to charge at a slow charger at an RV park. So like right now, I'm charging at 27 miles per hour. So if I just drop from going 65 to 55, 10 miles an hour difference, then I can gain 20 miles more range, and it's not going to take me an hour longer to drive, if that makes any sense. So the slower I can drive without people getting mad at me and getting into an accident, the quicker I can get to my destination, if that makes any sense. It's kind of seems weird. Like you drive slower to get there faster, but trust me, it makes a huge difference, especially on windy days like this. Did you get the active spoiler or the fixed? No, mine's fixed. I think the active spoiler would have been cool, though. It would be awesome if they can do a retrofit. But they only had it on the performance one at the time that I ordered it. I promise I won't call from Ireland. The charges. Use Skype. Did I get a spare set of winter rims tires? No, but I should have, Todd. I did buy chains, though. Because I've been towing people out with my ex, which is kind of fun to do. Towing out other SUVs with my electric car. But I need more grip. And I was thinking about getting studded tires, but the weather here is manic. If it was like constantly snowy, I'd get them. But it'll be super snowy and ice one week, and then the next week it won't. So I figured I'm better off with chains, and that way if I need them, I can put them on real quick, and then if I don't, I don't have to put them on. Plus they're expensive. A whole another set of tires. Oh, thanks, Triplet. Cool. There's on wildwestev.com's website, there's a number there you can call me at as well. If you did 300 miles, you could go the length of Ireland. Our scale is slightly different. Yeah. We can go 200 miles and not hit another city in Wyoming. It's the least populated state in the United States. We've got more antelope than people. We have towns that literally have a population of 1. And I think the only thing that's a requirement besides a post office is a bar. There'll be towns in Wyoming that are literally 2 bars and a post office. It's weird. look it up on Google. It's just strange out here. Rain, yes, but snow, don't have that problem either. Your girlfriend, Mr. Random says your girlfriend likes that I call her crazy. Okay. It's just interesting to hear that there's a girl watching. You can look at the analytics, and it's like 97% male. I don't know. It just always is with technology. The women are in the minority. We'll look it up. Cool. Thanks, Triplet. Let's see. I got 173 miles. I got to go 173 miles. So if I'm able to make my rated range, I can go, and I'd be good. If I don't think I can, though. I think I'll lose a lot of my range, so I probably should get another bit of a buffer before I take off. Let's see, how much have I gained since I got here? I got 57 miles. I've been here about 2 hours now. Do I use the front much? Yes, I use it all the time. My suitcase is in it right now. I'm going to Las Vegas for a conference this week. And I usually keep all my towing stuff in there and all my charging stuff in there. So I have my bag of tricks, which is like every single adapter known to man for power. That way I can charge at like anything I come across. And that's how I get where I'm going. I'll also keep a first aid kit in there, roadside assistance kit. What else? I don't know why, but it crashed. It's good to see we still got 20-some people on here. Sorry about that. I don't know what was going on. I'm very optimistic. Here, Zoe does 55 in winter, and after 2 years since the temp up 10 degrees centigrade, 70. Huh? Oh, the name of the company is Wild West EV. Yeah, like electric vehicle. wildwestev.com. See if I missed any questions up here. Really good signal quality. Cool. I guess I just realized I've been talking for like an hour straight. I'm drinking the strawberry lemonade stuff. It's pretty good. So, back to the news, which I only got one story in before I start answering all these questions. The Tesla Rangers are now called Tesla Mobile Service, and they're expanding them out. They're doing a bunch more of them. There's an article from Electrek that shows a van coming out to a guy's house and like doing all the tire stuff, like right there, like balancing and fixing, and so that's very cool. I think they can cut down on a lot of the weight if they can do stuff mobily, if they can just send a mobile service out to fix things for people. They're adding 300 body shops in the network over the next few weeks, says the Tesla president. The next gen Leaf is very interesting that they're letting people extend their leases out to the end of the year so they can get the next generation Leaf that'll have a 200 plus mile range, which I think is very interesting. Which is probably good, both with, the Leaf and the Bolt with a B coming out right before the Model 3. Tesla may lose some people that are not willing to wait, but then that means other people will get their Model 3 sooner, which is good. And maybe they'll win them over at the end of the next lease or whatever. as well. Um, Interesting that you're in Colorado, Triplet. They changed their tax credit so that you can sign it over to the dealership. Which I want to know is, can I do that living in Wyoming? Can I go over there and buy a Chevy Bolt and give them the $500 tax credit? Because I can't get it anyways because I live in Riverton, Wyoming, and bring it back to Wyoming and still get the federal, because that would be awesome. And did they end up limiting it to cars under $60,000? Because that was like a provision they were talking about, but I don't know if it made it through the final bill. Then Wyoming's allowed to sell in Wyoming now and do a service center, so that's awesome. And Pope Francis was offered a Tesla or a Nissan Leaf to drive, and he ended up choosing the Leaf. The rationale is, not to live in excess, I suppose, or just sheer size. Model S is huge. Streets over there are tiny. Nigel, you have to charge 40 miles every day? I used to do that with my Volt. My wife still has the Volt, so we just charge it every night, and it gets closer to 30 miles a range, 35, 25 in the winter. What car charger are you at, and why is it taking so long to charge? I am at an RV park, and it's charging off of a 240 volt, 40 amp charger, mobile charger. That's why. I'm not at a supercharger. If I wanted to wait until this thing's fully charged, it would take me another 3.5 hours. But I'm ready to go here pretty soon. I think I'm just going to give it a shot here as soon as I get to 180 miles, which should only take about another 10 minutes or so. Yes, I am married. What else? Battery best at 28 degrees centigrade, supposedly. What do you think of the old guy, 94 funny name, who announced solid-state batteries? Oh, good enough. I think that's awesome. If his batteries are good enough, if they can, commercialize it and get it going, that'd be awesome. But they're always announcing some kind of new battery technology that's kind of like far out there and not developed or proven enough to actually implement. So if they're able to get 300-mile range in a Tesla battery now, if they come out with better stuff, it'll be cheaper, better, lighter. That's just awesome, especially if it drives down costs. I manage a motel. The other hotel in our town has a Tesla chargers, but we have 30 amp and 50 amp RV plugs. Can they be used to charge Tesla? Yes, they can. Ginger Martin. The Teslas come with a mobile adapter for the 50 amp, and you can buy a 30 amp for like $50. So yeah, they can charge at your hotel. But if you want to get Tesla chargers, just call them. They're free. It's a destination program. They'll give you the chargers for free. And since you've already got RV hookups, it wouldn't be terribly difficult probably to get them installed. Tesla may even help you out. It's different from place to place. Or you could use my company, and we'll put it in a credit card machine, so it'll work like a vending machine, and then you'll get money for when people use it. And mine work with all electric vehicles. There's the J1772 plug, and then there's adapters for Teslas. Triplet says, I'm actually going to do it in reverse. What? I'm going to buy my Tesla in Colorado and then sell it to my company when I incorporate in Wyoming. Oh, yeah. There you go. That's a good idea. Is the Model 3 the same charge rate? The Model 3 is going to be a smaller, lighter vehicle that's got it's more efficient, less drag, so it will charge faster for the same amount of electricity going into it. You'll get more range for the same amount of electricity. So Model 3 will go faster. So if the Model S could charge at 60 miles an hour, this charges at 52 miles an hour. Some of that's because of the charging unit, and it'll depend on if they have the higher capacity chargers in the Model 3. They haven't announced, but my guess is they will have it as an option, and it'll probably be the same charging unit, or maybe a newer one, smaller. And maybe it'll be like 70 miles an hour range at 80 amps, or 72 amps might be 65 or something like that. Do they charge you for charging in an RV park? Yes. It depends on who's running it. For the day that I show up, some say, just charge for free. Some say they charge by the kilowatt, and it usually only is like $1.50 an hour. Some of them charge me $10 flat. Some of them want me to pay for the whole night. The one in Evanston charges me $3 an hour. This one here, they usually charge me like $10 for however long I need to stay here. It just kind of depends. Depends on who I talk to and how they're feeling that day, and whether or not they love gasoline. Or if they're full. If they're full, then they may make you pay more, or don't let you go at all. How long does it take you to charge at a supercharger or at home? At home, it's about 52 miles an hour, so it charges overnight. It takes like about 3 or 4 hours to charge. Superchargers charge in about an hour from 0 to full, but typically you hop supercharger to supercharger every 2 or 3 hours, and then it's like 15-20 minutes, because it charges a lot faster at the beginning than it does at the end of the battery. I always say it's like filling up a bucket with a fire hose. You can go full blast to start with, but once it gets to the top, you got to slow it down, or it's going to spill everywhere and explode. Which I don't know if it's the best analogy, but it's kind of how it works. The charge rate slows down once it gets to close to being full. So the idea is not to charge to absolutely full unless you absolutely have to, which I have to do in Wyoming. That's part of the reason it's slow. Yes, good enough, great name, but has good form and past. What's the normal destination rate? 80 amps, but sometimes they only do 40 amps, just because people don't have that capacity, or they just don't want to pay for it, because it's more expensive. You got to run a higher gauge cable, you got to have the room in the breaker, or put another panel in, or they're having to pay more for people to use it. So yeah, it's just kind of, it's hit or miss. All the ones I've ever been to are 80 amp, except for in Wyoming. All of the ones in Wyoming I've been to, Casper, Wyoming, Riverton, Wyoming, 40 amp. And that's why I've been going and doing 80 amps, because nobody else does. As far as I know, my chargers are the only ones in Wyoming that do 80 amps. Martin, what state are you in? In the Mountain Inn? Exit 99 off of I-80. What? Give me the address. I'll go charge. That'd be cool. How much is gas? Petrol is $1.20 a pound here approximately. Ours is about $2.50 depending on where you charge. Some places are a little bit lower, some places are a little bit more. But I don't look that often, so I don't know for sure, because I don't get gas anymore. I haven't had to buy gas for myself in years. For my wife's car, we bought some a few months ago, but I didn't even pay attention to what it was, because we only got a 9-gallon tank in the Volt, and so the little bit of gas it does use isn't much. Do you get charged for Tesla chargers per time or kilowatt in your state? Time. But I don't get charged at all, because I'm grandfathered in. Oh, you're in Utah. Oh, cool. Hey, so let's see. So are you between like Evanston and Salt Lake somewhere then? Because I'll be there in a little bit. I can stop charging and go now. Yeah, our state, you have to be a utility company to charge for electricity, and so you can't charge for electricity. So you have to charge by the minute. So technically you're renting out a parking spot instead of a charging spot. Must go, big journey tomorrow, 25 miles each way, like the early Volt. Well, I now have an 180 mile rated range on my Tesla, and I have to go 173 miles, and I'll be getting to Salt Lake around 9:11 is what it's saying. But I'm thinking because of the wind, I'll drive a bit slower and to test out the autopilot, and that I'll end up getting there maybe like 10. Towards Thule. Oh, yeah, I don't know. I'm not really going that way. I'm going to Las Vegas. So, not this time, but I'm sure when I go see the Gigafactory, or either the Gigafactory or the Tesla factory, I'll be going that way, and I'll have to stop by. They got a supercharger over there. I mean, I could go there and charge, but the supercharger's so much faster. And I always say it wrong. Is it Tool or Thule? You say the E? But I've been to that supercharger, and it was pretty good. There's not a whole lot to do there. I think there's like a Burger King there. Okay, I'll remember you. Oh, well, I've got two. I got two MacBook Pros that my workers somehow managed the screen to get all goofy on them. I don't know what happened, but the screen it like scrolls and it's like all flickery. I was hoping I could get into the Apple Store tonight, but I don't know if you can see it flickering. But both of them are like that, which is weird because they just fixed this one a month ago, and then the other one's brand new. It's only a month old, and it's doing the same thing. So I was hoping I could drop it off tonight and maybe keep going because I have to get to Las Vegas. But at this point, I think I'm probably going to stay over in Salt Lake, or maybe I might just only go to Evanston tonight. I don't know. Or maybe, I don't know. Anyways, thank you guys for keeping me entertained for the past hour while charging. Tuwilla? Or, oh, thank you. Tuwilla. Or is it A or A? Tuwilla? I know when I did a video on my trip to the Tesla factory on my Two Smart Guys channel, and I said it wrong, and people were saying you said it wrong. See ya, Nigel. Have a good night or morning, whatever it is over there. I'm sure it's that drastically different than what it is here. If anybody stayed watching through this whole thing, if you subscribe, I'll be putting out more videos. Now that the weather's somewhat decent, I'm going to do one on my new Model X and what I think about it for the past couple months, and the new autopilot. I've been taking some footage of it now that it's actually working. Hey, thanks for subscribing. Oh, hey, yeah, thanks. But you can call me whenever, like, while I'm driving. I don't care. Bye. Bye, John.